You blame Deshaun Watson for wanting out of Houston.
Not at all. I think Deshaun Watson need to get the heck up out of Houston. Think about it, big bro. It's one thing for an organization to be poorly run, but it's another thing for an organization to be poorly run and simultaneously lie to you. I would have no issue necessarily if Deshaun Watson wasn't consulted about the Caserio hire. Had Deshaun Watson not been told, hey, we will consult you about the Caserio hire. Okay. But how you going to tell somebody something and then still not do it? Everybody grown men out there, treat them like it, please. But then the other thing is very simple. Deshaun Watson's head coach, Bill O'Brien, he came from that former head coach, Bill O'Brien. He came from that Bill Belichick lineage, if you will, that line of Bill Belichick. And after Bill O'Brien and the Texans, rather, after they draft Deshaun Watson early on, Bill O'Brien sees Deshaun Watson in OTAs, in mini camp, in training camp, and still decides to start Tom Savage week 1 over Deshaun Watson. Just to pull Tom Savage within about 30 minutes, put Deshaun Watson in, and Deshaun Watson go on to have a MVP type of camp. After I've already been scarred by somebody in this Bill Belichick lineage, you told me you would consult me about a hire. You don't consult me. Then you go hire somebody else from that Bill Belichick lineage. I would want out as well.
Yeah, this is on Deshaun Watson to me. Now, I don't know all the details, and there's a devil in these details about what was agreed upon or not. So I got to take it at reported value. I got to take it at face value. I got to read between the lines and read the tea leaves. Deshaun Watson just learned a vivid, hard lesson in life. A lot of people learn this. You got money now. You understand there's a difference between money and power. Ooh,
that's real.
Okay. I've been highly paid before. Actually, everywhere. But I've been highly paid on the NFL roster before. And there was a difference between the money I was getting, that big old check that was bigger than half the locker rooms together, it felt like, and power. Now, in this conversation, he talked to Cal McNair, the Texans owner, about who you're going to hire, which could include Nick Caserio. All right. But this is what's interesting. Let's talk. Let's not argue. Let's talk about this. I think Deshaun told on himself because supposedly he wanted to be involved with the process, but allow them to make the decision.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Why in the hell would somebody want to be involved in a process to know what everything is doing, everything is going on, but then when the decision's made, it's all on you? Well, then, if I'm the person in power, guess what I say? Well, let's skip the middle step. Why in the hell do I want you around this if you're not going to have the input of decision-making that you've already given us? So by this report, Deshaun basically said, I want you to interview such and such. I want you to consult with me, but it's on you guys to make the decision. Deshaun, money and power, two different things. If you really wanted to flex, you should have said, I want to sign off on the hire, if you got that type of power. But you don't. So you even cut yourself short in that conversation, or at least by this report. So I need some explanations of why someone wants to know everything, but then at the end, they can't do anything. To me, either you want to be the water cooler, hey, I got the scoop, the nosy dude in the locker room, or else something is not adding up in this report or what his conversation was with Cal McNair.
I think that Deshaun Watson, he knows the lengths to which he can go. Let's be real. And let's be real 2 times. I'm going to start like this.
Okay.
It's in the best interest of the Texans management and ownership to consult Deshaun Watson for every decision. Because who actually is the most integral part of an NFL team's success? The quarterback.
Yeah, on the field.
So even if your quarterback is a 25-year-old who might not look like you, our society tells us we really shouldn't listen to younger people. Like, we don't really defer often to younger people. You don't know as much as me. You ain't even been here as long. But this younger person, 25-year-old Deshaun Watson, he is the most indicative of the Texans' success. So it actually makes no sense to not consult him. But I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to take it one step further. Marcellus, you know this, bro. You've been in these locker rooms. Deshaun Watson, he doesn't have the full authority or autonomy to say, hey, hire this person. Now, you may have vetoing power, but you don't necessarily have hiring power. You just recently exchanged co-hosts. I said exchange, but
exchange.
Politely. I said he just exchanged.
I downsized. Got younger.
You just recently exchanged co-hosts. You weren't finna come up here and be like, hey, y'all better hire Acho. Now, you might have had a little bit of say-so.
It was the opposite. Don't hire Acho, and look what that got me.
You might have had a little bit of say-so. You might have had a little bit of influence, but you weren't exclusively making the decisions because there are people that are higher up than you. But it behooves everybody to say, hey, Sal, make sure you like who comes in here next.
I love your example because
Please.
I was a part of the consultation committee, I guess.
Thank you, Marcellus.
But guess what?
I thank you for choosing me.
You think I chose you? Not every vote went in your favor, damn it. But the point is, I never asked to be on that committee. I was thankful I was, but I also never suggested to bring whatever names to me. Guess what? Deshaun, it sounds like you suggested that they should bring the names to you. That's a difference between me and Deshaun in this position of whatever power level I have. The other point that is really damning on Deshaun is I didn't catch feelings when it was Emmanuel Acho. I wouldn't have caught feelings, whoever it is. I love you, dog. I would never want to replace you. If you leave, I'm leaving too. But I'm going to come back the next day. But you can leave. But the point is, we attached at the hip right now. But I wouldn't be hurt. And I want to say some other ways of saying hurt other than that. But I wouldn't be offended. I wouldn't want to say, I'm leaving Fox. I'm leaving Speak for Yourself because of Acho not being a part of what I knew as a consultant on this committee. That's where Deshaun loses me. He loses me because he wants to be half pregnant. You can't be half pregnant with this power. You can't say, keep me involved, run it by me. I'm going to run it to the locker room. But then I don't want to make the decision because I can't make the decision.
Because you can't.
So what?
There's a difference.
So what? I don't see the difference in power.
But you know the difference. We don't have to see it, but we know it.
Huh?
Deshaun Watson can't sign. He definitely has influence in the decision.
Influence for what? Influence how? Let me tell you why he doesn't have influence. This is what Cal McNair may have told him or certainly is thinking. I don't know which one. Depends on their relationship. Hey, Deshaun, we love you to death. All these numbers. You had a career year this year. How many wins? 4. Okay, so all your greatness doesn't necessarily translate. Okay, forget it. It ain't just about this year. You've been here 4 years, Deshaun. How many times have we been to playoffs? Twice in 4 years, half the time. You know, before you got here, the 2 years before you got here, we went to the playoffs both of those years. That was a better win percentage, playoff success, playoff appearance rate than with you right now. All I'm saying is, in any negotiation, please respect the counter. And I don't think Deshaun understands the counter that's coming at him.
But now let's go to Deshaun selfishly. Let's leave the micro and let's leave the macro and go to the micro if we shall.
Okay.
If you're Deshaun Watson, let's throw up the full screen as I talk. If you're Deshaun Watson and you're first in the NFL in passing yards, you're first in the NFL in yards per attempt, you're second in the NFL in passer. So if you're Deshaun Watson and you realize, wait a second, individually I'm this good, and we still rat sorry, then I should have a big influence on what's going down because you all, Houston, Texas organization, are out here influencing people like Marcellus's take. Because Marcellus is coming out here saying, look, Deshaun, what you're doing isn't correlating to wins. Not just you, Sal. We got other analysts out here who said Deshaun's not a top 10 quarterback. His numbers clearly say he's top 10.
I ain't going there.
His numbers clearly say he's top 5. So how can an educated person say he's not top 10? Multiple people will argue for that. Simple, because it's not correlating to wins. So if you're Deshaun Watson and you realize, wait a second, the narrative of my legacy is being severely impacted because we're not winning. Although I'm a top 5 player, my team is a bottom 5, bottom 6 team, then you better come out here and give me some help because now selfishly, if Deshaun can be selfish for a sliver of a second, y'all ruining my perception, y'all are ruining my legacy because of how sorry we are.
A lot of this is circling around feelings. And in money,
though.
He already got his money, and he's going to get more money. He got his money despite not necessarily winning like a Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got his money because he was winning and all of that, and perception and reality. Deshaun, you haven't been winning the same level, but you damn near got a lot of the same amount of money. Here's the thing. I'm going to beat up this. I love negotiations because I'm the one that walks in without the ego. Despite having a tremendous resume, I know I'm not in here to just dictate terms. Y'all going to have some pushback on me. Deshaun, here's the pushback. You've won 29 games in your 4 years there in Houston. Guess what they won in the 4 years before you got there, Deshaun? And I'm going to give you the quarterback names. Brock Osweiler, was he any good? Hello. Brian Hoyer. Yup. Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's my dog. But Matt Schaub. How many? Those 4 quarterbacks won 29 games and had 2 playoff appearances. You, Deshaun Watson, have 29 wins and 2 playoff appearances. Where's the difference? What mirror are we looking through? Looking in to see a huge difference. So I'm not mad at Deshaun Watson as a player. I'm not mad at Deshaun Watson in terms of compensation. I'm a little upset that if he took his power and got a little drunk on it because he thought he could do something that he couldn't.
The problem that you're saying, Sel, is the reason that Deshaun Watson has had as minimal success as he had is because of the organization.
How?
So the organization is going to use the organization to fault Deshaun Watson. How?
1 year without Hopkins. The other 3 with Hopkins.
I showed you without all them dogs, he is first or second in the majority of statistical categories.
Yeah.
So Deshaun Watson is clearly really good.
I'm not tripping on Deshaun's performance.
If the Texans aren't good, then what's the issue at hand? The Texans are the issue. Who's the next most powerful person outside of quarterback? I'd probably say the head coach. Then shouldn't you let Deshaun Watson, the person who we know is without flaw, the person who we know is not the issue, shouldn't you let him start to dictate some terms? And if you don't, shouldn't he be upset about it?
No, I really played the game of football because of all the lessons it taught me on top of it was fit my skill set. And one thing I learned is the quarterback doesn't block. He throws passes. He stays in his lane. He knows what it is. And guess what? The linemen don't throw passes. It's just everyone knows we work together, integral parts, interdependently to make this work. Deshaun, you walked into a room maybe you weren't qualified to be in. Maybe you thought you were. Maybe you heard something that you didn't. I would love clarity on the issue, but the point is when they show you through their actions, that speaks louder than the words. And their actions are vividly, you need to learn the difference between money and power. Like Scarface the movie and Scarface the rapper both profess. This is a situation, we haven't even talked about Nick Caserio. And Deshaun said it, or at least the report said, he's not even mad at the hire. You can't be mad at the hire. Nick Caserio was director of player personnel. You can? Last 8 years, director of player personnel for the Patriots. What have the Patriots done in the last 8 years? Oh, won 3 Super Bowls.
Right, I'm going to corner.
I'm out.
Because the Patriots have had success, don't mean everybody in a part of the Patriots organization is successful.
Of course.
Marcellus, Bill Belichick, the coach, is phenomenal. We know that. Bill Belichick, the GM, suspect. We also know that. Why do we know that? Patriots haven't drafted a Pro Bowler since 2013 at a position outside of punter. They had a punter that made the Pro Bowl this year.
Oh, we're going to talent argument. I didn't know that.
I'm not going to talent argument.
You just did.
Argument. Punters step on the field 8 times a game. Other players step on the field 80 times a game. That's the difference. I'm going a useful argument.
Not Pro Bowl, though.
Pro Bowler. He has not drafted a Pro Bowler since 2013.
And how has that worked out for the teams that have drafted Pro Bowlers? Any better than the Patriots?
Just because the Patriots are successful doesn't mean everybody a part of the Patriots are successful. I knew you was going to go
just like Deshaun. Since you're successful doesn't mean it's translating. So guess what? Your money is separate from your power.
But just because you're not, because Deshaun Watson is successful means he should be looking for other people that can contribute as much as he can. If you bring it in Caserio, what have you done? Don't tell me what Tom Brady did. Don't tell me what Bill Belichick did. Don't tell me what Dante Hightower did or Patrick Chung did. What did you do to contribute to this team's success? Because without Tom Brady, Patriots don't look all that. So you just gave me statistics about the Patriots these last couple of years. Was it Caserio really doing that? Or was it Belichick and Brady? Or was it just Brady?
Right, and that's why I'm glad Deshaun didn't direct this at him. But I'm also trying to paint the picture. Let's not slight the guy. He has a resume, whether you want to believe in the resume or not.
He was a part of a resume.
Hey, well, whatever you want to say. I was a part of going to Columbia University. I didn't make this academic rank top 3 in the world. But guess what? You ain't going to sit here and say I'm a dummy because I was with that system. I was a part of that university. Here's another thing I want to say. I don't think Deshaun Watson is saying exactly what he feels. You took to Twitter. This is a report, not exactly his words. I will reserve judgment. But I do know if you want to say something, say it with your chest, big dog. Never be a part of a process that you can't make a decision in. What's the point of being a part of the process? Deshaun hasn't been on record yet, and I'm going to wait for it. But be real, dog. Who in the hell, other than a nosy neighbor, wants to know what's going on but can't do nothing about it?
Because you want to have. Everybody got a jurisdiction, big dog.
Yes.
Again, if you were to
stay in the locker room.
If you were to be like, hey, man, I'm not coming on the show tomorrow, or I'm done with Speak for Yourself for the rest of the time. I better have some say-so in who gonna be there, because we dictate, we being me and who.
So you want say-so?
Dictates the successfulness of the show.
Say-so. Say-so. How far do you want the say-so to the point, correct?
It might be
yes 20%. Or no?
Yes.
Well, then Deshaun didn't even ask for that.
But Deshaun asked for a percentage of say-so. Now, mind you, we don't know the perfect delineations.
I agree with you. Deshaun didn't ask for that. He said, dog, read the article again. Every single word, syllable, letter. He says, I wanted to be a part of the process. I gave him a list of names, the consultation, everything. But I knew the decision was theirs to make. You know what that sounds like? Have pregnant words. It's like, I want to be there, but not be there for the influence, for the impact. That's my only issue,
But there's
brother.
a difference between want and ability. Just because I want to do something or Deshaun wants to do something doesn't mean he has authority to do that thing. So, yes, I want to do this. You may ask your children, hey, where y'all want to go on vacation? They may say, hey, Dad, we want to go to Bali. You know what? Bali hit a little different for these pocketbooks. Let's go to Cabo instead. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean you can fully dictate it. Yeah. Now, if your kids say, Dad, we want to go to Bali, and instead you mess around and take them to the Bahamas, they could be like, you know what? I'm upset about that. I'm not faulting your children. They know there's a power in which they cannot cross. That's all I'm saying about Deshaun.
Yeah, it's crazy because my children got all my money. They got full power. Deshaun, you only got half of that. Calm down, bro.